This will be a quick video walkthrough of the Zoomie Google Chrome browser extension for the Zoom video platform. The goal of the Zoomie extension is to create a round-robin experience for pairs of participants, a functionality which is currently not present in the Zoom video platform. So the extension utilizes Zoom's Breakout Rooms feature. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll be installing the extension through the developer's version of the extension, as the extension is not currently present on the Google Chrome Web Store for the time being. If it's present in the future, if it's present on the Web Store, then you can go ahead and bypass the initial installation of the development version of the extension. So before we get started with installing the extension, let's look at just go ahead and start a meeting to see how it looks on the Zoom video platform looks in the browser versus on the desktop version, so we can go ahead and join. I've started a meeting already, and we're going to say cancel to open. This is the default dialog box for Zoom, where it wants you to, it's asking us to open the desktop version of the Zoom video platform, so we're going to cancel that because we want to use the browser. You can see at the bottom here it says if you cannot download or run the application, start from your browser. And it's giving us a link here. In the future, we can just go straight to this link to start or run our meeting in the browser. We don't have to go through this process, but you can go ahead and start from your browser. And so you can see I already have some participants here that have joined. I have 6 participants. These are all guests that I've added already to the meeting. So, and then here is me, the host, currently the meeting. So I've added 5 guests. So Wanda, Jane, Clark, Clyde, and Jill. And then briefly, we can look at the Breakout Rooms functionality. So this is the default functionality for the Zoom video platform. We want, in this case, we want 2 rooms. So this is a round-robin experience. We're only doing one-on-one breakout rooms. So 2 people per breakout room. We have 5 right now, so we only need 2 rooms. The last person is not going to be in a pairing, at least to begin with. So let's just automatically do this. So okay, so it already added 3 to this room, which we actually don't want. So let's take out Wanda, and we can see now this is Clark, Jill, Jane, Clyde. Now the extension, what we're going for is to have a round-robin experience, and so the Zoom video platform just doesn't have that built in right now. We can basically automatically have this automatically put participants into breakout rooms, but it's never going to be it's never going to cycle evenly through the pairing. So Clark and Jill may end up together 3 or 4 times in a row before Clark gets to be with Jane. And so really what we're going for is to have this round-robin pairing that's all set up for us. So this is about it from the Zoom platform. There's not much that you can do here to get what we're looking for. You know, so if you had 30 or 40 people in the room, this would all be kind of random, and each time that the users come in, the ordering changes over here, and that's how it's kind of assigned in the Zoom platform. So they go to a breakout room, everyone leaves the room here, and then they come back in a different order, and or the same order, or partly the same order, and that's how the rooms are divided up when you're using this automatic feature here, this automatic feature right here, assign participants automatically. So this is not really very useful. So we're going to go ahead and add in an extension, browser extension, that will kind of make this more useful and add the missing functionality. So let's go ahead and get that going. This is typically where we'll go off to the Google Chrome Store, and you can just install this extension, and it will be running right off the bat. But since it's not currently up, we're going to go and do this manually. So I'll show you. Let's go ahead and open up the Chrome extensions. Chrome extensions URL here. You can also get to this from the drop-down. Let's see. From the drop-down right here, extensions, depending on your platform. And let's see. And typically you'll come in here and the developer mode will be turned off. So we're going to have to turn that on just for installing the developer. Since it's a development version right now, it's not on the web store currently. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on, and we'll be loading an unpacked extension. And this is where we're going to load the source file. So we need to go off and get that actually. So let's go off and get that. So this is the URL of the source code for the extension for the time being. And you can see the source files right here, and we can go ahead and download this. Okay, and then we can go to the folder and extract it to this folder. Okay, and there's the source files right there. So now when we go back to the extensions over here, we can load the unpacked extensions by just browsing to the directory and select open. Okay, and it is turned on right here. You can turn it on, turn it off. It's turned on. So let's go back over here and we can just go ahead and reload the page and see how it looks. Okay, so everything looks about the same. When we go to the breakout rooms menu, you can see that it's already shifted a little differently over to the left here, and we're going to manually create the breakout rooms. Okay, and so you can see it's already changed the dialog box a little bit to make more space. We still have our participants here, and we can see there's a Zoomie settings button. Okay, our options. So in terms of options, for this round robin experience, these are the options that are turned on for the time being. I've already set this up. Typically the options don't look like this to begin with, so I'll just go through and say what they are. We're going to be moving all the participants into the breakout rooms automatically. We want to allow the participants to return to the main session at any time. The breakout rooms close automatically after 2 minutes. And notify me when the timeout, that's fine. Countdown after closing the breakout room is fine. Set the countdown timer to 10 seconds. So this is all kind of what I've put in here. Okay, and again, we have 5 users, so we only need 2 rooms right now. And so this is what the extension looks like. Let me change the zoom level a bit. So this is what it looks like within the dialog box for the extension. So this is the round robin setup. And you can see, as we have an odd number of users right now, there's actually going to be a blank. Someone's going to be left out on each round. So on the first round, Clark is left out. Second round, Jane is left out. Third round, Wanda is left out. Clyde on the fourth, Jill on the last round. Okay, we also have some other options down here. Auto close the rooms after a number of seconds. So this feature is missing on the Zoom video platform, where it only allows you to select by minute. So if you want a minute and a half, or a minute and 45 seconds, or 30 seconds to close the rooms, you have to do it manually with a timer in front of you. And so this extension kind of has a little feature where you can specify the number of seconds to close the room. So I'm going to change this just for the purposes of this video to 10 seconds, so that the rooms will close after 10 seconds. That way we can see it in action. There's the current round number input right here, which you can kind of shift through the rounds to see how it looks in each round. And each time you hit OK, it's going to just, whatever round it's in is going to use the pairings for that round. So we can go ahead and hit OK. We're going to see in the first round Clyde and Jane and Jill and Wanda. So let's hit OK. Okay, and this is telling us that we need to create more rooms because there are not enough breakout rooms. So this was just that actually because there are. Okay, we're going to let's add an extra room here. Okay, so we'll go through and hit OK. So even though that third room is not used, the program assumes that there could be. There's that extra person in there, so the program got upset about that. So we can see Wanda and Clyde, Jane and Jill. Let's go back and look. Wanda and Clyde, Jane and Jill. Right. Okay, and we can open all the rooms. You can see that Clark is left out, and it will auto close in 10 seconds. So looks like it's auto closing, and now it's got this countdown timer, 10-second timer as well, to alert us that it's closing. Okay, now everyone is coming back. Wanda, Jane, Clark, Jill, and we're missing one user. So it looks like, okay, there we go. So we have 5 users again. So now for round 2, you can go back in here to the Zoomie settings. You can see the current round counter is already at 2. It's going to cycle through these rounds on its own. So it's going to cycle through the rounds each time when you hit the open all rooms. It's going to increment this counter. When it gets up to the end, it'll just go back to the start, back to the first round. So in the second round, we can see Jane is left out. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And sure enough, Jane is left out. And we can open all rooms. And so you can see everyone joining the breakout room. If we gave it more time, everyone would be joined in, and you'd be able to see them in there. So we're only doing 10-second, because we're only doing 10-second rounds. We're not seeing that. So if you go back to this menu before it's finished, you can see you want to wait for everyone to get back. So here we have 5 users back, so now we can go back to the menu, and we're in the third round. So before opening this menu, you want to make sure that everyone is back in the list over here before you go back to this menu. And it looks like actually 2 people dropped off. So let's go through and put those people back in. Let's see who dropped off. Okay, here's one. And there's another person who dropped off. Okay, so we should have 5. Nope. Here we go, Wanda. Okay, so now we have everyone back. Go back to the Zoomie settings. So over here we also have these 2 columns here, ignore and co-host, and let's go through that functionality. So this is basically for the odd man out. This is odd man out functionality. So in the case of an odd number of users, right now we actually have 5 users. So there's an odd person out. If you want to specify that this person is going to be always left out, they can be the co-host, is what we're going to quote-unquote call them as a co-host, and so they'll always be left out unless there's an odd number of users, and then they'll be thrown into the mix. So let's pretend for a second that Jill left the meeting or didn't join the meeting to begin with, so let's just ignore it. And we can see that Wanda, although she is ignored, she's got the co-host setting, so she's thrown into the mix here when there's an odd number of users. If we were just ignoring Wanda, we can see that it would just be the 3 users there that are in the round robin. So if we go ahead and make Wanda the co-host, then you can see Wanda is thrown into the mix there when there's an odd number of users. And we can sort of play with this a bit. We can see in round 2 how it sets up, and in round 3 we can make sure that it looks correct over here. Alright, so that's about everything. So that's about everything. Hopefully this has been a helpful guide and introduction to using the Zoomie Google Chrome browser extension, and thanks for watching.